Welcome to Wealth Wednesday. Awesome, GM Deborah. Well, let's get into that. Awesome. Okay, let the chat pulled up. Let's do this real quick. Boop, boop. Awesome. Well, welcome, GM everyone. Welcome to Wealth Wednesday. Happy to have you here. Got on the collector edition. I Will is Greater Than IQ. Renatus collector's t-shirt. I got the whole collection, guys. 14 years of them. Anyway, excited about the day, the month. Looking forward to a huge year-end ramp up. I mean, October with the momentum. Follow up in November. Get paid in December. Guys, we're on a great trajectory. With the quote of the day: build your own dreams, or someone else will hire you to build theirs. Build your own dreams, or someone else will hire you to build theirs. And that got me thinking. I just saw a funny. Oh, no, good. Check. Okay. Build your own dreams, or someone else will hire you to build theirs. I don't know if you guys have seen this movie, but I thought this was funny. When you realize you only have 1 hour left to work and 35 years. If you haven't seen that movie, it's hilarious. Not in a good way. This scene is hilarious. Anyway, folks, if you don't build it, you're going to work 35 years in the machine. Dangerous way to live. So I found this Renatus community. I called out of a newspaper ad. You never know where you're going to find people. It's just a matter of putting the message out there of who we are, what we do, what we have to offer. And remember, I mean, it's the basics, but we got to go over it constantly. Selling benefits, not features. Okay. What do? We get people out of the rat race so they can live their best life ever. Not have an online library of videos you can watch and learn. Okay. That's a feature. We want the benefit. So always emphasize the benefits. Same thing, you're dealing with homeowners. And they want to understand why they should work with you is because of the benefits that you offer, not the features. So anyway, got a question from Deborah about Super Saturday. She was wondering, is it a good thing to bring first-time guests to? And of course, as long as you set proper expectation, meaning showing them, tell them that this is the business behind the business. If they haven't come to the Epic or the Four Pillars or the Glossy Banking or something, then they don't have the right context. So, yeah, Super Saturday right here. Absolutely. Tell them though, this is the business behind the business. And for those who don't know why you need a business, this is a great opportunity to build in the validity of the Renatus wealth cycle. So, Deborah and everyone else, when you're bringing this to Super Saturday, maintain a high level of excitement, because when you run a business and you have a 10, 20, 30, $50,000 month, which some of you have had from the marketing and the real estate, running your own businesses, you get these huge, what some people earn in a year, you get in a month. Okay. So every single month, that possibility is there. The possibility is not there. So that's why no one is excited. Now, whether you get your 10, 50, $100,000 month or not, depends on what you did the prior month and several other factors. But the possibility, and depending on your business, the probability is there and very high sometimes. You should be excited first and foremost when you're talking to people about Super Saturday. Come to Super Saturday. You're going to learn how to make 5 figures a month from home, 6 years and 6 months even. And we're going to show you the business behind the business. And then instead of saying, like, what Renatus, describing Renatus, I would just say the business is an award-winning, A+ rated, BBB, highest accolades training company that has students all over the nation and they're expanding their market. So they're looking for more people to help them with marketing, student boarding, helping new people find us, and they pay an incredible amount. Now you do have to go through some training, right? You got to I'm not going to call it a boot camp, but you gotta finish some training. You got to go through some decentralized training. That would be the 0 star to 5 star. That's the training. Some people get their training done in a month. Some people take a year. Once you're there, then you're off to the races. Finish that training. You can go anywhere. Um, that's what I did, guys, when I was in Salt Lake, to all the Super Saturdays. Once I got it, then I moved to Denver. Well, I didn't move to Denver. I just started a Denver team, and I went back and forth from Salt Lake to Denver. But we still did our Super Saturdays. We never skipped a Super Saturday. So, um, and then you're just going to say, hey, some of the top earners and real estate investors are going to show what they're doing to enhance their businesses, how they get to work from home, work towards the freedom that everyone desires, get to spend more time with their kids. Come see how the business behind the business works. It's 9 a.m. to noon Saturday. We do it once a month, so you don't want to miss it. You don't want to wait a whole another month, because some people are making, yearly comes in. Like I said, it's not an exaggeration. The key is to not tell them that they can make it. You're gonna make your yearly in a month. Don't say that, but you can say some folks on our team are making what used to be their yearly income in a month. Okay, you make a distinction. Compliance doesn't care. Don't make promises. Don't tell them a result they're going to get. What we're sharing is results others have completed. Okay, as long as you stay on the other side of that line, talk about all the money, all the results, all the deals, all the lifestyle, but in an after the fact that person did it, not in a future potential for your guest. Although we do think that, and I'll tell them in one-on-ones, but you can't put it on your ads for sure. But I'll tell them, like, if Nate Lambert could make millions of dollars and do hundreds of deals in the last 5 years, so can you. If you do what he did, which was get obsessed with classes, show up to the meetings. Nate didn't want to come to Super Saturdays, but he did. He came to like 50 in a row for years and years and years to get this down. So if you want the things that Nate's getting, or that Daine is getting, or that Bill is getting, or that, people all over the Renatus community are getting, you got to do the things that they did to get there. Step 1, join Renatus. You did it. Step 2, invite people while watching your classes. Seriously, have watch parties. I used to, and you can ask my friends this, I invite them over for movie night, have popcorn and chips and drinks, and we'd be so excited. And then I would play lease options with Chris Alba or Chris Wilson. Right? And I sold in essentials like that. Then the next week, we were in our classes together. I put up a big whiteboard, and every time we had an aha moment from the class, we'd go and write it on the whiteboard together. And we turned watch classes into our like homie time, friends hangout time. Friday night, Saturday night, popcorn, giant projector, watching classes, whiteboard notes, and turned it into something fun. So anyway, that was all from the marketing. So learning the basics at Super and mastering the basics. Reminder also about the Genius course tonight with Cosimo. That is going to be at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Okay, so make sure you register for that, please. If you haven't registered, you use this link here. Sweet. Okay. Deborah, and yes, personal development is a major key in the in your business development. So all kinds of language about how you describe what you're working on has a direct impact, and people are crummy language. Did you know the average American uses 500 words? That's it. There's 600,000 words in the English language, and the average American only uses 500 words. Learn a whole new 500 words and just use those. If the average is miserable, worse, weak relationships, weak bodies, weak bank accounts. Don't use their language. You got to develop a whole new language. And so that's something we teach you in the classes, at Super Saturdays, at the Thursday night masterminds. Wealthy people use a whole new language. They don't have these extra advantages. It's just, if you want to be wealthy, say what they say, do what they do, act how they act. And eventually you will be wealthy. You'll have the habits of wealth. And remember, wealth is not an amount, it's a habit. That is something that has brought a lot of peace to my students when they finally realize, whew, I don't get to be wealthy for 15 years. No, wealth is a habit. You could start being wealthy by applying velocity banking right now. Something that wealthy people do is they use banking models for their advantage. You start doing your tax advantages, especially when we learned about with cost segregation and all these other things. That's what wealthy people do. So it's a habit, not an amount. A lot of you are already on the wealth, but you just maybe psych yourself out a little bit by comparing, which I get it. Beware, don't compare. It's a bumper sticker. Beware, don't compare. Anyway, wealth is a habit. So use a whole new set of language. And that's something, yes, I would always bring guests, especially like on Thursday night, right? Or after the cash flow game on Wednesdays. You say, hey, this Saturday, we're going to be showing you the business behind the business. See how this whole thing works? This is just a little peek of what's going on. Why don't you come and join? Saturday, come be, what my mentor used to say, she used to say, come be a fly on the wall. Just come and listen. Come and experience why the system works so that some people are making 50 grand in a quarter, 50 grand in a month. You want to see how it works? Sure, I'll come see how it works. How much does it cost? Oh, it's free. Just to be clear though, we're not teaching real estate investing. We're teaching business principles that you'll apply in your real estate, your marketing, other areas of your life. Yes, because Super Saturdays is where, when people have a sense of what's the catch? What's the catch? This sounds so great. All the classes, all the students, all the results. What's the catch? Well, what's the catch? The catch is that we market by word of mouth. I mean, like, the catch is also a huge benefit if you take advantage of both sides. So when they see the word of mouth thing, holy moly, and it's to my benefit. All the walls that people were putting up because they want to know what's the catch, they want to be safe, those walls come right back down and they see, oh, the catch is a bunch of people working on themselves, spreading a good word about a company that's changing lives. I think I could get behind this. So when Vanessa and I were giant teams, we would set two kinds of goals. We would set income goals and we would set new ICM goals. New ICMs, whether they bought education or not, doesn't matter. How many new ICMs did I bring on that month? If you set an ICM goal, now's a good time. By the end of the year, how many new marketers, new team members, new people with vision for something more out of life are you going to enroll? Or, leave them on the bus living in the miserable I gotta stay rated PG at least. The game is rigged. I want more people to win, and we have a solution here. Be more vocal about it. Talk to more people. Is what I'm saying. Because, as we will get into, wealth is built through conversations, not through hard work, not through 40 hours a week, not through showing up early at your job. Although those habits will help if you bring that. I'm telling you, if you just bring that seriousness of your job, never be late, you're always going to do your best. In the eyes of the customer, in the eyes of your boss and your employer, you're always going to do your best. You brought the same attitude to your marketing and real estate business, you would crush it. Don't treat it like a little side thing that you hope works, because that's what it'll ever be. But if you're like, nope, this is the new work that I do. 20,000 students have come through these doors. I'm pretty sure that the next several thousand that come through are going to get the same experience. So you might as well have some of those customers be there because of you. Snyder's writing out the checks every Tuesday and Friday. So anyway, we will get much more into the nuts and bolts on Super Saturday. We'll hear some more testimonials of, closing new students that we came from E3. So we'll get to hear from a bunch of other people other than just me. But just know, folks, it's stay excited, stay focused, ignore the naysayers because you know how your life is going to turn out. And it's life by design. Speaking of life by design, our trainer for the day has done just that, from a wandering generality to a meaningful specific. He has designed what he's done for a living, how he's contributed back to, society, to people, how he's raising his kids, what he's doing in his business. Incredible example. But for those of you who don't know, he started out terrified, scared, wondering, would it really work? Just a dude with a job and a baby on the way. Now, what an interesting arrangement. His warm market, one of his friends, his coworker at a job, said, dude, come look at this. And, the student that invited Daine had no results. Just come look, just come and see. He was still new too. But Daine knew something needed to change. He sat in the meeting, saw the wonderful people, saw the hugs, saw the genuine relationships that were there, and him and him decided, let's go for it. They went from living in a basement to owning this mega ranch in Idaho, and dozens of properties that pay him on a monthly basis. He's a great example of using the system, staying focused. It didn't take him, 9 months. It took him 9 years. But that time is going to go away. So you might as well be in control and steer the ship. He's a great example of that. He's here to drop some knowledge, answer some questions, and provide some guidance on real estate marketing, being the best version we can be. So thanks for being here, Daine. Let's give a big warm welcome, Mr. Daine Clark.
Hey, yo. What's up, dude?
Oh, just loving life,
And
man. Happy to be
and
here.
everybody, good morning.
Yeah, we got
Awesome.
new folks. We had a very productive conference and onboarding a lot of new people. So, yeah, man, happy to have you here. Wealth Wednesday. Um, will you just give some people a little more background of like the feeling of when it was time to buy and getting over that feeling and the habit of watching your classes, and kind of describe to some new people, what's possible for them if they stick with it. And
Dude, I
you're
was
proud.
scared. I remember handing him my, I think, let's see. I applied for 5 credit cards at the same time, and I had never used a credit card in my life. Wait,
Yeah,
wait, take it back.
same here.
I got a credit card 1 year prior to joining Renatus because my credit union was like, you need a credit card. I was like, okay. And I swiped it one time and I literally logged in to my bank and paid it off an hour after swiping it because I was just like, oh my gosh, I have debt. I have credit card debt. And I never touched it. I think I even cut the card up. So that was the amount of experience I had with credit cards in my life. I go to join Renatus and they're like, oh, put it on a 0% credit card. So I get 5 credit cards on the same day. And I think it was like 20, I can't remember. It was more than enough to get the education. And so I remember handing 4 credit cards to my enroller and saying, this better work. Because I'm maxing out 4 credit cards and never had credit card debt in my life. This better freaking work, dude. I was nervous. I was scared. But I was like, this has to work.
Yeah, and see that's the difference right there is for a moment you put it on the salesperson. This better work, then you switch it back to yourself. This has to work, right?
Hmm.
And so folks, when you're enrolling new people and if they say, you know, they better work, you got to turn around and tell them you better work.
Oh
This
yeah.
works. Are you going to work it? So anyway, keep going.
Yep. Yeah, and I have to admit that I got a slow start because of that mindset that I was like, this better work. Um, if I tell like the whole story of the mindset shifts, I remember walking down to the community and for some reason they well, rightfully so. At the time, I didn't realize what was going on behind the scenes, but in my mind, I was like, oh, for some reason they put me with like all the newbies in the community, an essential study group basically. And I'm like looking around, I'm just like, dude, none of these people are doing deals. That was my assumption. I have since repented of such a thought because I actually remember Tim Vreeland in that group. And and Tim was doing lots of deals at the time. Like he had some crazy cool stories. Even at that time, I didn't know this though. Anyway, so I'm sitting there in the room like, dude, nobody's doing deals. I want to be like where the people that are doing deals are, but they won't let me be there. And so I walked out and I never came back. I shouldn't say never because obviously here I am. But in my mind, I was like, I'm not coming back. So I walked out. I barricaded myself in my house, sorry, correction, it was actually an attic apartment that we lived in. Um,
Oh, okay.
and it was built in 1901. And anybody who knows about 1901 houses, I guess people weren't as tall back then. I would hit my head every time I walked into my bedroom, the kitchen, the bathroom, my closet. Like the doorways were this tall, but I was like, sweetheart, we're saving money because because we're living here in this 1901 attic. And anyway, so I barricade myself in my house. I watch class after class after class. I watch all the essentials. I watch all of the fix and flip AIT, the rental track AIT. So I mean, I watched like a lot of education.
Did you
And then
shoot your TV?
what's that? Did I shoot
Did
my
you shoot
TV?
your TV?
We didn't, I don't think we owned a TV at the time. We couldn't afford a TV. Um,
Love
if I
it.
remember right. Like we didn't buy a TV until like later. But even then, I grew up on a dairy farm. I didn't
So
know
TV is
TV.
not a thing.
Yeah, it was never a thing.
Gotcha.
I don't even know what like when you turn on a TV and there's like thousands of channels and like you can even see what's on for the next like several hours. I don't even know what that. I never had that. I would get lost trying to navigate that.
Nice.
Don't even know what it is. I grew up under a rock. Um, anyway, so yeah, TV wasn't really a thing. But yeah, watched all these classes, and I remember watching the last class in the fix and flip track or whatever it was, and was like, closed my computer, was like, all right, where's the deals? Obviously, I didn't learn much, just barricading myself and watching classes. And and that's when I got frustrated. Like I actually started having thoughts cross my mind that I was like, this is a scam. I just wasted 20 something thousand dollars and down the drain because where's the deals? And so I had all these like really negative thoughts that I wasted my money, that oh crap, like now I gotta pay off all these credit cards. I'm gonna have to work overtime. Oh, it was a rough spiraling downward mindset at the time. And And something inside of me just like bucked up and said, no, this has to work. I will make this work no matter what. And I will not stop until it does. And that's the day that I walked back into the community meetings on Thursday night and said, I am here to serve. I will do anything. I want the whole experience. Um, And that's when Mitch was like, and at this point, my wife's gonna have the baby like within weeks because when we joined, she was 6 months pregnant. And so here we are. We got like weeks, maybe a month left until she's gonna have the baby. And I was like, and I told my enroller, I was like, dude, I need money now. I wasted 2 months. Like, yes, I watched classes and that was valuable. I don't want to take anything away from that. But I didn't have conversations, like none. Zero, because I was too afraid. I just thought the deals would come. I don't know what I was thinking, but I wasn't having conversations. And so then rude awakening happened. I was like, crap, I got to have conversations with real people. And that's scary because I grew up on a dairy farm milking cows and I had no personal skills. Like you don't talk to people the same way you talk to cows. It is very different. People would never respond to that.
So grew up on a dairy farm.
And 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 so yeah. Anyway, and so I tell Mitch, I was like, dude, I need money now because I'm out of money. I'm out of money. Actually, yeah, I've got this credit card debt. My wife's gonna have a baby in like weeks. She's gonna quit her job. Like, what do I do? And Mitch is like, I'm putting together a, basically a team of guerrilla marketers. Like, everybody on this better make $10,000 a month. And we are going to commit to accountability. We're going to meet once a week. And I was like, oh, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, we're gonna do the marketing, and we're gonna use the marketing to find deals. And I was like, Mitch, I told you I'm not joining your stupid real estate MLM. No, thanks. But I was like, ah, crap, I need money. All right, Mitch, tell me what to do. And so I started marketing. And we did guerrilla style marketing. I mean, we were hitting the pavement. We were putting signs out. We were cold calling. I mean, just everything. And like Michael said, the rest is history. I learned how to talk to people because I did the marketing. And I accidentally raised money to do a real estate deal while trying to market. Because the guy was like, Daine, I don't want your education thing. I have a lot of money. And so bring me deals. If you bring deals like the ones you're talking about that you're looking for, I will fund them. And I was like, so you don't want to come to Thursday night? I didn't know what else to say. And so I accidentally raised money trying to market. And then I accidentally find a deal trying to market. I was calling up another guy. I was like, hey, real estate, come to the thing. And he's like, oh man, you should buy my property. Come to find out he's in like turmoil, trying to unload the property because of a balloon payment. And so I call the guy back that's like, I don't want your education thing, Daine. I want to do deals. I've got money. So I call that guy back and I helped the guy that needed help with his real estate deal, and I did my deal. Accidentally. Trying to market. And I think I actually did 2 deals trying to market. Let me think. Yeah.
Let's put yourself in the right place.
Yeah. Trying to market, did 2 deals. And was just like, oh my gosh, like, why didn't I know this from the day I started? I remember thinking I would be so much farther ahead if I was willing to have conversations while I learned, instead of say, I have to learn, then talk. I won't talk to anybody unless I know. Silly, very silly.
Right? You don't know until you talk to people.
Yeah. And yeah, it just at that time it just exploded. I mean, some of you that have been around long enough, I mean, the first time Bob came out with the what do they call it? The London challenge, the sales challenge. Like, hey,
Yeah.
for 90 days, the top income producers, personal income producers. So you could literally start on day one. In fact, we had some people that literally started their Renatus journey, their Renatus marketing journey, the day the challenge came out. And so we had people that were brand new, and we had some people that were more seasoned. And what place did I take? Did I take second place?
Yeah, I don't remember. I was just actually scrolling through those pictures the other day.
I think I took second place in the entire nation in personal production for Renatus marketing. It just
Yeah.
blew, and I did more deals than I ever had done in my entire life doing that. And I learned a valuable lesson through that. yes, it's cool to be on the stage and all that, have all the recognition. But I learned that literally my key to what I want was a conversation a day about real estate with humans. I need to have a conversation a day minimum with humans about real estate. And that's what led me to doing again the next year, more deals than I ever had in my life, more marketing than I ever had in my life. And then we did let's see, it was 2 years later. Bob did um, where did we, Dubai. He did the Dubai challenge. And I think I took 5th place in the entire nation that year. Kind of on autopilot. I was more doing real estate that year. And I didn't even expect to make it on the leaderboard for the Dubai challenge and took 5th place in the nation, kind of coasting. Because when you have a conversation a day, there's a beautiful thing that happens. There are people that want to join Renatus. There are people who are praying for opportunities to get into real estate. There are, whether they are wanting to be passive and all they want is like that first guy that's like, no, Dane, I don't want your real estate education thing. Bring me deals. I got money. Like you will run into people like that on accident. I shouldn't say on accident because you intentionally talk to them, but you did not intend for any outcome of the conversation other than whatever it is they say, you will help them with, whether they want to be passively involved in real estate, whether they want to be actively involved in real estate and among us, whether they say, oh my gosh, real estate, yes, I have this property with this underlying problem and I need help. Or they're just like, I don't like real estate, get out of my face. And you respond with, sounds like there's a story there. And then they tell you a really interesting story. And sometimes they actually realize in their own story that there's flaws in their story. And they're like, oh, like I've had people that were like, don't talk to me about real estate. I've got all the stories and all this mumbo jumbo and Ponzi schemes or lost money by investing in Tennessee, living in Utah and didn't really do their due diligence, didn't know how to manage from afar and was like, no, and then became one of my passive investors because they were like, oh, there's different ways to make money. Oh, I didn't know that. All because I was like, yeah, tell me the story. If you don't like real estate, sounds like there's a story there. Is it your story? Is it somebody else's? I don't really care. Tell me the story. And then they find their own flaws in their story and they're like, oh, maybe I should give this another look. And I'd have people join Renatus. I'd have people give me money to do real estate. Or I'd have people call me years later and say, hey, you still doing that real estate thing? Oh, this house, I need to sell this house. And years later doing a deal because even the people that were like, don't talk to me about real estate, I still made a friend. And I listened to them. And when life happened and real estate was involved, they were like, oh yeah, Daine, that Daine guy. Let's call him and see what's cooking, see if he can help us. And I was either raising money, doing deals, or selling combos. And so,
Beautiful.
oh, love it. All right. I saw a bunch of comments. Can you review how you bring a real estate, sorry. Can you review how you bring real estate up in random conversations? Yeah. Sometimes it's messy and I probably look like an idiot because like my analogy is if anybody's ever followed football, I don't know all the terminology. I played football in high school, but that's about the extent of it. Because like Michael, I don't watch TV. So I don't watch sports on TV. I played them and then I worked on the farm. And so in football, there's like a running back guy. The quarterback hands it to the running back, and the running back's one job is to find a hole in the defense. And that's like the best analogy I could come up with for myself. When you're having a conversation with anybody about anything, you just look for an opportunity to say real estate in the conversation. Kind of like the football running back guy. He's looking for the hole in defense. Like he's just looking for the, yeah, running back looking for the green. Yeah. Looking for that path to talk about real estate. So I mentioned the first guy I ever raised money from. I had a script that was given to me by marketers, and it was FORM, family or from, where you from? Tell me about your family. O, occupation. Tell me about, what are you doing for work? And then R, recreation, and M was money. And I never made it really past like F and O. I would start a conversation with somebody, ask about family, ask about where they're from. And oftentimes they would say something that I was like, oh, and I could say real estate. Talking about friends, talking about family, talking about from or whatever. Like, oh yeah, I'm from this city. Like, oh my gosh, I got a buddy that just bought a house over there. Did you know that if you are a part of a Renatus community, you have a buddy that probably bought a house in every city in surrounding areas, wherever the community is, probably almost every city in this entire nation. And let's even say it's a neighboring city. Like, oh yeah, I got a buddy that bought a house like just over in that area. You're actually correct. Even if you didn't. And then you bring up like, oh yeah, he bought a house and flipped it and fixed it. Like, you see how easy this is? Anything they say from family, like, oh, I got family, from here. Oh, I got a buddy that bought a house over there. This is why it's awesome to get to know fellow real estate Renatus community members, because the credibility just is overflowing inside this community. I mean, you did Michael at E3, did you guys do the walk of the
We
walk
sure
thing?
did.
I can't remember
Yeah,
what they
Walk
call
of
it.
Fame.
Walk of Fame. Like, hey, I've been in Renatus this many years, did this many deals. Like, dude, you got people everywhere. And there wasn't even like there was like a dent in how many Renatus members there are, I'm sure.
Mhm.
And so there are people in, I would dare guess, dang near every city in this nation, or at least within a driving distance of every city in this nation that are doing deals. And so stuff like that, like, yeah, sure, nowadays I can be like, oh yeah, like when I meet people, they're like, oh yeah, oh, I bought a house in that city. Sure. But when I didn't have that credibility, the Renatus community did. Like it is irrefutable how many deals that the Renatus community is doing. No one can argue with it. Like, we got the receipts, and you cannot argue with receipts. Anyway, so there's like an example of four. If somebody says any city that I know of, and I know somebody's story that did a deal, like even in the county. Oh yeah, I did. I had a buddy do a deal out there and tell a story. Flipped a house, bought a rental, did an Airbnb, did a wholesale deal, did something. Occupation. Oh, sorry, I was telling the story. So the first guy that I ever raised money from, I was just asking those questions. Tell him about the family. Tell me about where you're from. And then I got to occupation, and I actually knew the guy. He was warm market, and I was like, I actually don't know what you do for a living. I've known you for all these years, but I have no idea what you do for a living. Like, what do I mean, you're a sharp guy. I know that. I love saying that. Man, you seem like a really sharp guy. You seem like a really sharp guy. Like, what are you doing for work? Love that question. I have repeated that hundreds, maybe thousands of times. And he's like, oh, tells me about his business. And I could not help but when he was telling me about his successful business, I could not help but say, like, that's amazing, dude. I'm getting into real estate. Like, almost like a reciprocation thing. Or let's say you have a day job and you're getting into real estate. Oh yeah, I'm doing, because if it reciprocates, oh yeah, here's what I'm doing, but I'm getting into real estate. Like, this is what I want for my future. This is what I want for my retirement. This is what I want for fill in the blank. This is what I want for like living my best life is real estate. Anyway, so I'm talking to that guy like, I don't even know what you do for a living. What do you do? tells me about his successful business, and then I can't help but say real estate after that, and he's like, real estate? Oh, and he starts telling me a story about the first investment property he ever bought on accident because his neighbor called him up and was like, dude, I'm losing my house. Will you buy it from me? And he's like, yeah, I guess. And so he bought his neighbor's house and kept it as a rental for many, many years. And he's like, oh, I've always wanted to do more. And so here I am, like trying to get him down to a Thursday night meeting. He's like, no, Dane, I don't, I don't want to go to your meeting. I got money and I want to do real estate. And I was just like, okay. I didn't know what else to say at that time because I was new. I was just like, okay, yeah, if I got deals, I'll call you. And deals I brought and deals he did. And the first question he asked me, oh, I love this. We did our first deal. I only needed like, I don't remember, 85,000, 87,000. I think it was 87. $87,000 of his money to do the deal. He started getting paychecks and he started, cashing in those and they were great. And then the next time I talked to him, he goes, so Daine, how many of these do you think you could bring? I was like, at that time, I had developed my mind and I was like, I knew exactly what I was like, challenge accepted. And then he goes, well, I got somebody that you need to meet. And so he introduces me to his business partner at the time. And the business partner says the same thing. Well, this is cool that, Glenn did, a deal and now he's done two. But how many can I do? And I was like, challenge accepted. And all of a sudden I was like, I need to do more deals now. And then that guy introduces me to his brother, who was also a business partner in that business. And that guy asked me the same dang question. He's like, how many can I do? And I'm like,
So I think what we want to emphasize here then is that the person with the knowledge is more valuable than the person with the money because they need you, right? They need your expertise, your network, your relationships, your knowledge. You can use any dollars, anybody's dollars. It doesn't need to be theirs, but they need your brain. They need your educational experience. And that's the advantage that we're trying to paint the picture that you have here. When you go do your capital raises, maybe in the back of your mind, like Daine was at first, I've only done 1, 2, 5. Okay. And then someone comes to you and says, I need 50 of these. Why do you think he needs 50 of them? He doesn't have knowledge. He doesn't know how to construct them himself. Or maybe he's incredibly busy with something else. And the capital is going to burn a hole in his pocket if he doesn't put it somewhere. Guys, we're providing services to capital people and homeowners and lenders all at the same time. Like we're right in the hub. And I guess what I want you to understand is you're not one of the spokes at the end of the wheel of the real estate industry. You were right in the middle. And the more you watch your classes, the more you stay connected, the more valuable you become. More valuable
really
than
quick.
the 10 million because if he can't do it, if he can't allocate that capital correctly, he's going to lose 7 to 10% of it just by inaction because every year, we talked about it before, the Federal Reserve is siphoning off 7% of your wealth every year. So anyway, okay, so let's talk about this then. Working with title companies as an investor, because we need them to record things a certain way on time, and not every title company is created equal. So could you give us a little guidance, warnings on dealing with companies? And because, dude, I've had about 10 in my town I've had to correct, and it's like, guys, you're the ones with the licenses, the books of everything, and I still have to catch you right at the closing table doing something. So anyway, give us some do's and don'ts on doing that.
My favorite title companies even to date, and I've used, oh, I don't even know how many, probably dozens upon dozens of different title companies. Um, the favorite ones still today are the ones that I received through investor communities. And so if you're looking for one, even if, let's even say there's not like a local Renatus presence in that specific community, um, join any real estate investors community and try and get the referrals for those title companies that are serving the investor communities. I'm one of those that doesn't believe that um, that I don't want to say this the wrong way because I want to make sure I very carefully pitch this, but I will talk to or collaborate with anybody that likes real estate, whether they're in the community, whether they're out of the community. Yes, some people do real estate and they don't want to be a part of Renatus, and that's fine. I don't exclude them and say, well, you're not a part of the true real estate investing community or whatever. I will collaborate with those people. And it's actually paid off really, really well. And anybody that knows the Utah market here, like there are real estate investor communities, a many. There are so many. And I have to, because of my mindset where I was like open to talking to anybody, the person who today owns the Utah, let's see, the Utah RIA, which so many people like, I feel like there's hate. Like either the local RIA people hate Renatus or the Renatus people hate the RIA people. I don't see it that way. But the owner of the Utah RIA, I sold him a combo because of my mindset of I will talk to anybody who wants to talk real estate. Yeah, if I'm going to do a deal with that person, I'm going to dot my I's and cross my T's because they're not educated. Or even as a lender, if I'm lending to somebody who's not a Renatus member, I'm going to dot my I's and cross my T's because I know that they're not educated. Renatus education is awesome. But I will say that regardless of whether you get, or there is a local Renatus community and there is title companies that they are using, and if there's not, just join any real estate investing community and ask for referrals for the title companies that are serving investors. You'll probably save yourself a lot of time because because I got stories like Michael was saying. Like I've got ones that I just called them because they were local and I made a big mistake. They did not serve investors or they didn't know anything about investors. They were like with the blinders on, they did the cookie cutter retail run of the mill, no creativity, nothing outside of which is so bizarre to me. When I meet somebody, like today I've talked to thousands of people. It is so bizarre when I meet somebody that says, "Oh, I've been in real estate for 20 years, 30 years, 25, whatever, 15 years, anything. I've been in real estate for many, many years." And they don't know anything about seller financing or subject to or private money. Like um, I, we're actually selling a house right now, and the buyers want to sell their house in order to buy the house that we're selling, and they wanted to make the offer subject to their house selling. I don't love those. Um, and so I came back and was like, hey, I've got an idea. How about, because the guy's house is free and clear that he's selling, and he wants to buy ours free and clear when he buys it. And I was like, how about I give you a loan on your old house, even as like just the down payment, like not even the whole thing. I'll just give you a small loan on your old house and give you a loan on the new house. And so you can start working on it because the house needs some work. You know, we're basically like, it's like whole tailing, I guess. And so I was like, yeah, you can start work today. And by the time you sell your house, like maybe you could have the house at least like almost livable. And here you go. And man, that guy's realtor, when I first met him, he's like, yeah, I've been in, beating the chest. Yeah, I've been in real estate for 5, 10, I don't know, 7 years, something like that. And when I presented this idea to him, he was just like, huh? I was just like, oh boy, here we go. And it was funny. I was this close to the, because the buyers, when he went and presented that pitch, basically like, yeah, how about we help you buy this new house so you can start working on it today, and as soon as you sell your old house, then just pay me off and you still own it free and clear. Like nothing changes. Still your house. It was your house from day one, but we just delay you paying me until you sell your house. But you can start work today. They loved the idea. But as soon as we got down to like, okay, we're going to file a trust deed, whatever, they were just like the realtor, I could see his eyes just glazed over. Like, and so the struggle is real. Sorry, Michael, but they exist more often than not. That they just don't know. So go to the real estate investing communities and ask for the referrals for people that are using these title companies, using these, realtor, whoever, professionals. Because if you have to babysit them, which I knew it was an uphill battle in this case, but I was like, hey, I'm going to try. Oftentimes it just falls apart. And the babysitting is so time consuming. When you have to sit down and train your professional, train your realtor, train your title company, it becomes exhausting to a point. I mean, maybe it's fun the first time. Because I remember showing title company and they were just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. But when you have to do it over and over and over and over again, it becomes exhausting. So ask for those referrals. Now, let's say you can't get any referrals and you're like starting from scratch. Like let's say I moved into an area and I had no idea any communities. I had no idea if there's any Renatus presence. If I was literally dropped in somewhere that it was like, okay, you're not allowed to do that strategy, Daine, I would just start interviewing. And here is the one question that I would ask. And this applies to any professional, realtor, attorney, title, loan officer, any professional serving the real estate industry. Somebody just said this in the comments. Facts tell, stories sell. I don't ask realtors or title companies like, do you serve investors? Because you know what they're going to say? Yeah, of course I do. Of course I serve investors. They're going to say it every time. Instead, I ask, tell me about the last time that you served an investor. And I ask that of attorneys. I ask that of title companies. I ask that of loan officers, realtors, whoever. Tell me about the last time that you served an investor. And I'm looking for the story. And I will ask all kinds of details of the story. And I say, don't tell me their names. I don't care. Like, you don't have to disclose anything of, attorney-client privilege or client privilege, whatever, if they're not an attorney. I just want to hear the story. Tell me about the last time you did that. Or tell me about your favorite time that you served an investor, right? I'm looking for the creativity. I'm looking for those buzzwords of the creative nature kind of deals that we do. Private funding, private money, all that stuff. Seller financing, subject to, all inclusive. I'm looking for those stories. And so it's funny because some people that know me, I sell via stories, everything. Like when I talk to people, I was just talking to somebody literally yesterday. All I do is tell stories. Like somebody asked me, oh, Daine, what do you do? In fact, somebody, I think it was actually Tim. Somebody was asking me like, oh, Daine, like, how do you like get people to be interested? I just tell stories. Like, and I loved Tim's joke. I'm not sure if Tim's on it anymore. Yeah, he is. I love Tim's joke where his comment was, someone asks Daine, "Oh, what do you do?" Daine tells them a story. It's true. And it works like bread and butter. It's amazing. And yeah, I can tell a 30-second story that would take us, take me basically the same amount of time to say, "Oh, I'm a real estate investor." Like almost the same amount of time I could tell them a quick story. But I also ask for stories. When I'm interviewing professionals, I want them to tell me a story. I want the title company to tell me a story. I want the realtor to tell me a story, the attorney, whoever, to tell me stories. Because I want to know how they tick. I want to know their mindset. Because if I just ask a loan officer, "Oh, do you serve investors?" "Yeah. Uh-huh." Like they're not going to say no. That's silly. Um, anyway, but yeah, that's how I do it. If I wasn't allowed to ask for referrals, I would interview in that fashion, in that method. Tell me stories. And I would do it in person. Like I'd walk into the title company office and say, and ask the front desk, like, who is the person who is the agent that you would say is the most experienced serving investors, right? So you're at the front desk and the gal that like doesn't know anything about how to answer the phone. I'd ask, who is the agent here that you would say is the most experienced in serving investors? "Oh, that's probably going to be, okay, cool." Go talk to that person and say, "Tell me the last time." Obviously, get to know them. "Hello, nice to meet you. Where are you from?" "Where are you from? You got family?" Obviously occupation. So I would ask about their occupation because I already know their occupation. We're sitting in a title office. "How long you been in this?" Tell me, that kind of stuff. And like, okay, cool. So tell me the last time or your favorite time about serving investors. Like, what kind of things have you done? Tell me some stories, right? Anywho, I hope that helps. Um, Sometimes you get really funny answers. But yeah. Oh, you know what? Somebody texted me. Melee texted me yesterday. Is Melee on? No. So Melee asked me to talk about Carl's mortgage calculator. Was that for somebody that's on here today? By chance? Was asking about.
I think it was me.
Okay, cool. So maybe she asked for you. Cool. Is everybody cool if Michael, did we answer the question there? Cool. Let's
Yes,
talk
thank
Carl's
you.
mortgage calculator. Let's see, Safari. All right. I don't know the website. I always forget it. So I always just type KARLS, Carl's mortgage, and then it will usually just auto-populate. But if it doesn't, well, maybe it's just because I've used it. So if it doesn't populate, I just go Carl's, KARLS with a K, Carl's mortgage calculator. There is an iPhone app. Excuse me. There is an iPhone app, and I'm pretty sure there is an Android app for this. But yeah, it looks like DR Calculator. Oh, Doctor Calculator. Carl's mortgage calculator. I love this. It's if you've ever watched Jeff Armstrong's, like he has that calculator that's I forget what it's called, but the super fancy mortgage calculator. There is a little bit of a learning curve. I love the power of it, but there is a little bit of a learning curve. This is like just as powerful with minor limitations compared to that very, very powerful calculator. So minor limitations, but small enough that it doesn't really matter. Because you can do all the same things. You can solve for X, if you will. And so here, let's just punch this in. So let's say Why isn't it gonna let me type? Oh, we're solving for principal. Let's solve for payment. So up here, these little dials, you can say, all right, I'm gonna enter these 3 items and we're gonna solve for payment. Or you can say, we're gonna enter these 3 items and we're gonna solve for years, or vice versa. And so this is so powerful because, and I was even thinking about this last night when Melee asked me, that when you're selling on seller financing or buying on seller financing, I know this might create like a negative connotation, but you ever been to a car dealership and the car dealership is like selling on payments basically, and it's like really cringe? I don't know very many people that buy their houses in cash. Like, there are very few. And so houses are bought and sold on payments. So might as well negotiate them on payments from an educated fashion, of course. Like, yes, there are ways to get swindled, sure. But understanding how payments work for you and from you, whether you're buying or whether you're selling on seller financing, both are important. So let's just set this up really fast. So let's say you're buying a house for, I don't know, $250,000. $250,000. Let's just do like a 10% down payment. So notice I can fill in either one of these. I can either say $20,000 down payment. So I can solve for how much money I have. And this automatically populates to 8%. Or I can come in here and say, oh, 10%. And it automatically populates the dollar amount. So either one, which gets us automatically our principal balance. So purchase 250, down payment 25,000, which means we have a loan amount of 225. And then we can enter in any interest rate here. I just happened to get a quote yesterday, so I know that investment properties, investment properties are 25% down. And so I was quoted a 6.625% interest rate on an investment property in the state of Utah, with 25% down. And we are solving for years, so let's actually change that to payment, and we'll do a 30-year amortization. Okay, and this spits out a payment, and notice it's grayed out, like I can't click on this because we're solving for payment. And so spits out $1,169.63. Now here's where things get really cool with this calculator. Now, when you are buying, obviously the people offering the interest rates, like so many things are negotiable. And so you can come in here and say, oh, well, I want to do a 15-year or the 30-year, and notice that the payment changes, or the 30-year. Or you can say, oh, well, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, well, what if I spend an extra $2,000 to buy the rate down to, oh, I'm not sure why it said 625. Okay, I must have changed something after the fact. So right now I got a quote yesterday for 6.625%, $1,200 payment before taxes and insurance, mind you. And so $1,200 payment. Now you can say, oh, well, what if I spend $2,000 and I'm able to buy the rate down to 6.375? What was it before? $1,200, and now we're down to, so we saved ourselves $30. Right? So you can see really quickly basically the different things that are negotiable. So, okay, yeah, well, what if I give you $4,000 and they'll drop the rate down to 6%? Then bam, you can do that in 1 second flat and spits out payment. Or you can say like, oh, well, what if I only put 20% down, but the interest rate increases to 7%? Then now it went up from 1,200. Our baseline was 1,200. Now it's 1,500. But you're like, oh, well, instead of, let's see, what was it? 25. So we're $62,500.
Hey,
and we
Dane.
shave that down to 20. Now we're 50, so we save ourselves $12,000 out of pocket. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. We're seeing your Note Indeed master spreadsheet, not the calculator.
Oh, all right. What's going on here? Carl's mortgage calculator. I shared the wrong one. Here we are. All right, there we go. Now you can see it. Here, I'll move this up to this way. Not looking down. Why did you guys catch that way, way, way long ago? Anyway, funny. All right, so here we are. Let's set this up. So $250,000 purchase. Let's say 25% down payment. Like I said, yesterday I caught quoted 6.625% interest on something like this. So $1,200 payment. And notice that I can't click on this or I can't adjust it because right now, these dials up here, we are solving for payment. Okay. And then notice, let's go back through it again. Let's say that I'm like, oh, well, I'll put an extra $2,000 towards closing in just rate buy down fees. And that gets us to 6.375% interest. And so that only changes the payment by $30. And so, I mean, we can do the math on that too and say, okay, let's see. Let's say that it's a $2,000 fee to change that amount of interest. And then we do I hope this works, 2,000 times parenthesis, 30 times 12. No. Divide. I need to put this on the other side, actually. Get rid of that. So $30 per month savings times 12 months. So 1 year divided by $2,000 that I paid to do that. Oops, divide. That is effectively an 18% cash on cash return on my cash flow, if you will. And so you can make decisions like this and say, okay, if I do $2,000 more money, that will produce a cash on cash flow of 18%. Obviously, there's principal and interest, and so you'd really have to dig in to get the principal and interest to produce the actual return because of the principal and interest nature. But on cash flow, that's an 18% return. So you can decide like, 18% isn't good enough for me. So no, I'm going to keep my $2,000. I'll go put that somewhere else. Or you're like, yeah, actually 18% that's good enough for me. So yeah, I'm going to put the $2,000 down and save myself $30 per year. Or sorry, $30 per month times, let's see, 3 times 12 is 360. So yeah, I'll save myself $360 a year for a $2,000 outlay. That's 18% return on cash flow, return on cash flow. Okay, so let's go back to Carl's mortgage calculator. Where is it? There it is. So yeah, so you can play with this. Now, let's talk about when you're selling. Like this is where things can get really cool. And this is why I say like most people, like vast majority, buy houses on payments. And so when I'm selling a house on seller financing, ultimately, like I try not to sell on interest rate. I try to sell on payments first. Like, okay, what kind of a payment are you hoping or expecting? Hoping for or expecting? And so let's say they come in and tell me, oh, well, let's just use this same example. And they're like, oh, I've got 20% down. So here, let's just make this like a little more realistic. I've got 20% down. So I've got $50,000 on a $250,000 purchase. And I can afford $2,000 a month. You see what just happened here? We solved for interest by clicking this button up here, interest. And if they're like, yeah, $2,000 a month, that's 11.627% interest. And you made them happy. They got their house, they got their, but let's even say, oh, well, they have taxes and insurance. Here, let's see, expenses. Oh, it's already built in. So annual insurance on a $250,000 house, yeah, about $1,200-ish. Annual tax, probably a little more. Let's say $2,300 or something like that. And so then we can come back here and say, oh, well, they're like, oh, but my out the door is $2,000 a month. And so I just look at this and say, okay, expenses are going to be about $300 a month. And and let me talk about this. Insurance, quotable. Like you just call up an insurance agent and say, hey, what would the insurance be on this house? And they can get that to you. A good agent can get that to you within like minutes and pull that. I shouldn't say a good agent. A non-busy agent can get that to you within minutes, or I should say have high efficiency, even if they have employees. But it doesn't take long. If you have agents that are taking day or days to get you quotes, like, dude, get a new one. Get somebody that's a lot more efficient, that either has employees to help speed that process up, or that they're just efficient enough that they can do it themselves. Anyway, so this is quotable by an insurance agent, like off the cuff. You don't even have to get the insurance. Just get the quote if you're worried about it. Nowadays, I've done so many of them that I just have a ratio and estimate and say, okay, we're going to budget this much for insurance. It might be plus or minus a few $100 even. But and then taxes, just go to the county assessor. Wherever the property is, find out where the county is and just Google insert county assessor. Insert any county and then assessor, and look up this property on the assessor's website. There will be some counties that don't have user-friendly websites. They exist, but oftentimes you can just pull the annual taxes on that house in seconds. And so, so grab the taxes. You can get those actual, and so you can punch those in. And then notice over here, I have this $30 of monthly expense. I prefer, when I'm seller financing, I prefer not to collect the payment myself, personally. I want somebody to do it for me. And so I hire an escrow company that collects the payment, does all the amortization for me, they'll generate the payoff, and they do all the stuff. They get my client gets a monthly monthly statement. They can set up auto pay. They could pay with ACH. They can pay with a check. They can pay with, nowadays they can pay with a debit card if they want to. There's a 4% fee, but they can pay with a debit or credit card. And so that's a $30 a month expense to my client. It's actually free to me, $30 a month for my client. Anyway, so I just know now, okay, cool. The non-negotiable expenses on this house, because you can't negotiate these with insurance or with the county taxes or with a escrow servicer, is $321 per month. And so then I can work backwards, and let's say my client is like, no, I can only do $2,000 a month, period. So now we're going to do 2,000 minus 321. I'm not a head math person. 17, 16, 79, 1679. Somebody tell me if I'm right there. Oh yeah, close enough. So my client's like, yeah, I can do $2,000 a month. So 1679, enter the payment. My client's payment is $2,000 a month, even. That's 9.48% interest. And let's say on this same house, I'm going to buy it using a DSCR, debt service coverage ratio. Let's say the same house, I'm going to buy it DSCR, 25% down, and then turn around and sell it. Here, let's see, how can I like screenshot this and save it? Oh, let's just do a new. Oh no, if I, oh yeah, let's do this. New page or whatever, new Carl's. I don't think it's going to auto adjust, but let's try it. Carl's mortgage calculator. Just pick the top one. Oh yeah, it might not. Let us do this. All right, let's do this one. So they buy for 250, they put 50,000 down, they put 20% down, balance is $200,000. Their payment is this. Let's calculate our payment. I can say, okay, yeah, I'll buy it for $250,000. And I personally wouldn't do this. I'd probably buy it for 250 and sell it for 275. But let's just run it like this. for sake of getting used to the calculator. Let's say I'm going to put 25% down and we're going to solve for payment. And like I said, I just got quoted 6.625% interest. So $1,200 like we talked about the other day. Now the expenses are the same because, again, those are non-negotiable for me or them. And so taxes, insurance, and the loan processing fee. And so I'm $1,200 a month here. Let's see if it saved it or did it adjust it. Oh, cool, it saved it. So $1,200 a month is my cost. $1,600 a month is their cost. And so I'm not a head math person. That's $478 in cash flow on just a little, and again, this is just our example, obviously. But this could be a real example, sure. Like this is very realistic. And so yeah, could cash flow $478 a month just by this. Now let's even say that they're, and that's how we solved for payment. But let's say that that person's like, oh, the interest rate. Like let's say their most important thing is the interest rate. Then you solve for other things and say, okay, fine, I'll give you, let's see, we said that ours was let me show you this. Let's even say that we give them a flat 6% interest. So they give a 6%. Now remember, we're paying 6.625. We charge them 6, but notice that I left the payment here of the 1678. And I say, yeah, I'll give you your interest rate, but I want the payment to be 1678. And notice how this automatically pre-amortized, and that's how I would say it too. Like I'm going to pre-amortize a portion of the purchase, and the payment's going to be the 1678. Let's still have them bring 50,000 down. So they bring their 50,000 down like they were going to, which is now 15% of the 330, 6% interest, but I'm still cash flowing $478 a month. Right? Nothing changes on my bottom line, the cash flow. Nothing changes on their down payment. Let's say they're like, I need 6% interest. Like some people are like that, where they're just like, I don't know why. I don't even necessarily shop interest rate if it's a cash flow decision. I shop cash flow. I shop payment, right? And I'll say, oh, well, if I do this or do that, can I change this or change that? If I put more in, anyway, I hope you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. But notice that I just changed like the whole map, but I'm still cash flowing exactly the same. My client is still bringing the same down payment at the end of the day. And all I did was say, oh, we're going to pre-amortize it. And so it's going to show $280,000 balance. But watch, in fact, here, let's switch back and forth on this. So notice, actually here, let's just do one more tab. So that we can switch back and forth. So Carl's mortgage. And we are going to, cool, it's already set up for us. But let's go back. Let's go back to what it was. So we're going to solve for, let's see, interest, 250, 20% down. Oops, 250,000. 20% down, and then it was like 1678. All right, so back to just like plain Jane. Okay, so notice this. Total interest paid over the course of this is $400,000 in this scenario. Let's go back to the other one. Total interest paid for the whole course of this loan is now $324. We just saved them, how much? Yeah, we just saved them like 80. We just saved them $80,000 to do it this way. Now, obviously, that comes out of your pocket at the end of the day. But if you're after cash flow, then here you go. And if the most important thing to them is 6%, then give them 6%, but sell it on payments and say, okay, cool. Because if you know that your payment's going to be 1,200, and you're just like, cool, I won't do anything less than 1678. You know, again, pick a number. I won't do anything less than $500 a month cash flow. And so this needs to be 1,700. Oops. Again, pick a number. And you can play with everything else. It's beautiful how you can do this and solve for X and solve for, solve for years, solve for payments, solve for principal. Just keep in mind that yours is going to be a 30-year. And so if you happen to sell your client on anything less than a 30-year, you also have to account for that on your end. And so I usually just leave the years the same for that reason. Oh, I take it back. I will go up to, I've done like 40 years for people. If they're like, oh man, I just need a slightly lower payment, then I'll say, okay, cool. I'll leave mine on and I don't tell them this. In my mind, I'm like, cool, I'll leave mine on a 30-year. How about I do a 40-year for you? It drops their payment a little bit. So yeah, my cash flow goes down a little bit, but in the long run, I'm going to make a lot more money by giving them the 40-year, gives them what they want, a smaller payment. And I make, and I'm okay with it because I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll take less cash flow now, but I'll get it for an extra 10 years, potentially, if they go that long. Or if they pay it off in like 10 years, my amortization would have only gone down a smaller amount. So I'll get a bigger paycheck. Like, let's say we do that. I have a 30-year mortgage. They have a 40-year mortgage or a 40-year contract. 10 years in, mine amortized way faster than theirs did. And so 10 years in, they're like, hey, I'm going to move. And I have true stories about this where I'm like, oh yeah, do you need seller financing? Yeah, actually. Cool. Well, I'll help you sell your house, potentially on seller financing, if somebody will buy it, and I'll seller finance it to that person. And then let's help you get your new house on seller financing. Works like a charm. Anyway, let's say they sell it in 10 years. My amortization went way faster than theirs did. So I'm going to get a big check, a bigger check than if they did a 30-year at the end of that and go dump that into the next deal. And so, yeah, so you can, and that's why I love this, because you can do all these things on that calculator that Jeff Armstrong teaches. But I will say that it is a little bit harder to see like everything visual like this at the same time. And so I love how this is laid out. And like I said, they have iPhone apps, they have Android apps for this Carl's Mortgage Calculator with a K, Carl's Mortgage Calculator. And so yeah, can play with these, block off 30 minutes of your day, maybe 15. Block off 15 minutes of your day and just like play with this. Play with solving for all the different things. Interest, principal, payment. And run scenarios. They'll say, okay, yeah, if I bought it for this and here's how much money I put down, and if I sold it for this and here's how much money they put down and sold it on payments, I could, I could give somebody 6% and still get $1,700 a month where I'm paying $1,200, or whatever. Insert examples. Or you could even come back and say, oh, well, what if I only put 20% down too, and my payment or my interest rate goes to 7%, then yeah, my payment goes up to $1,300 a month. And so I lose $130, but $130, or let's go back to, I think we were doing it like, I don't know, somewhere on here. Let's do this. Oh yeah. So what did I say? Was it $300? No. Hang on. So it went from 1,200 to 1,300. So, oh yeah, so $130. Let's do that. $130 times 12 months divided by, I would have to bring $12,500 less, 12,500. And anybody that's not following the 12,000 where I got that, if I put 25% down, That's 62,500. If I only put 20,000 down, the interest rate is going to go up with the bank because they always go up when you do stuff like that. If you put less down, the interest rate goes up. So 7%, but I'm only bringing 50,000. So I save myself $12,000 in needing to bring that. Oh, it was showing it. 12. There we go. And so I can say, oh yeah, so that if I only put 20% down and I'm getting $130 less per month, that affects my cash flow by 12% cash on cash return. Is that, and again, and anybody, that's not good. I'm not going to say it's good or bad because it's up to you. If you're like, oh yeah, I actually would prefer to keep the $12,000 because I can go put that somewhere else and make more than 12%, or 12.48% cash flow. I hope this is like ringing light bulbs. Oh, thank you. I'm just checking comments. But yeah, Carl's mortgage calculator. I love it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool. Any more questions on this, or did I nail it for you? And we're 9:38, so we can go ahead and call it a day.
Thanks, Dane. I think it was me that you were going through that for, and
Perfect.
there's a property that I want to make an offer on, but there's no way it would cash flow unless they did seller financing. So I was trying to figure out how to make it so that the cost each month did not exceed like 1,800 in order to have room for cash flow. And I
Okay,
couldn't
yeah.
I couldn't backwards do the math from I can't go to 1,800, otherwise I'll be paying to own this thing. But what can I offer them, or how can I negotiate to make it so that they go for it?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I
So you
think
could
that's
do,
why Melly said, could you help me out?
cool. So yeah, so you could do the same. Okay, yeah. So sorry, I forgot that scenario. So when you're buying on seller financing, oh man, yeah, you could do the same thing like when we were selling. Every single one of these becomes negotiable. And so if you say $1,800 is your max, then you can start playing with all the rest of these and be like, hey, I'll give you, let's use our example. Instead of 250,000 that you want, I'll give you 338. And they're going to be like, really? Like, yeah, and 7% interest. Again, if you're putting 20% down.
When you say that number, are you saying that you're giving them over asking, or are you saying by the time you're done paying them, you'll
So-
have given them over asking?
So this, if it's in this box right here, this is
Uh-huh.
saying like, hey, I will write a real estate purchase contract that says purchase price is 338, right? So
Gotcha.
in our original example, it was 250. So we're giving them an extra 50, 60, 70, 80, $88,000 above asking. And again, just in this example. And we're still getting what we want, payment. If that makes sense.
Yep.
So yeah, you can play with this all kinds. Change the interest rate, change the value, do a, and in your case, I would play with those years and say like, oh yeah, I'll do a 20-year, I'll do a 25-year, do a 21-year. Like the sky's the limit. You can enter any number you want on the seller financing stuff because every single one of these boxes is negotiable. With banks, it is tougher. They're not really negotiable. It's like, oh yeah, if you want this, then you have to do this. But with seller financing, every one of them, you basically get out of life what you negotiate. You get out of life what you ask for when you're buying on seller financing. Can negotiate every single one of these boxes. And so yeah, if you're like, hey, the most important thing to me is that payment, play with all the rest of these. And like in our example of a 200, if they're asking 250,000 and I come in and be like, hey, I'll pay 338 and 7% interest. They're going to be like, is this person crazy?
Well, my plan, it's a townhouse complex and I want one of the townhouses. So my plan is just to make a seller finance offer to each one that comes on the market over and over until I get one.
Beautiful.
So I needed to be able to calculate it like well and frequently. So I was like, I
Yeah.
don't just need
Yeah,
help,
this
Millie.
is
I need to know how to do it. And she's like, I got a plan. So that was awesome. Thank you.
cool. Absolutely. Coolio. But yeah, great question. All right, we're 9:42 my time, so let's call it a day. But yeah, great questions. Sorry, what was that, Michael?
Yeah, great stuff. I mean, this is exactly what I was talking about with the framework, looking at numbers and solving problems. Every time I talk to people about the problem that we're solving, it people jump to the fixing thing. No, we're solving people's literal lifetime housing issues while making a great living ourselves. So study this stuff, watch the recording, tell more people that they could be involved in a solution that is meaningful while they're out working in the economy, instead of their soul-sucking job. They can contribute more. So join us.
Love it.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Daine. Always a killer conversation. And I know a lot of people got a lot out of this. So thank you for your contributions, and everyone else too as well. Great to see you. And we'll see you tonight for the news class and Super Saturday this Saturday. Bye for now. Mwah.
Perfect. Love you all.